In this episode of True Crimes Unfold, we unravel the case details of Wang Nuannuan, a tragic tale of betrayal, loss, and finding purpose through pain. Please note that events and scenarios in this video may be graphic for some viewers. Discretion is advised. Details of the videos are taken from actual case files. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where you're listening from and what type of cases you'd like us to cover next, and we'll make sure to add them to our list. Don't forget to subscribe to get new stories as soon as they're released. Settle in, get ready, and let's begin. Wang Nuannuan's life was a testament to ambition, resilience, and the power of self-determination. Born in a modest village in China, she grew up in a household where hard work was a necessity, not a choice. Her family's financial struggles inspired her to dream of a better future, and she resolved to create a life of stability and independence. From a young age, Wang Nuannuan displayed an entrepreneurial spirit. She excelled academically, earning scholarships that allowed her to attend university, where she majored in business administration. Her tenacity and sharp mind set her apart, and after graduation, she quickly climbed the ranks in the corporate world. By her late 20s, she had achieved what many could only dream of: financial success, independence, and a thriving career in real estate. Wang's ability to identify market trends and negotiate lucrative deals made her a rising star in her field. She eventually ventured into entrepreneurship, founding her own real estate development company. Her business acumen and reputation for fairness earned her the respect of her peers and clients alike. Within a decade, she had built a multi-million-dollar empire, transforming her life and the lives of her family. Despite her success, Wang remained humble and grounded. She was known for her generosity, often supporting local charities and mentoring young women aspiring to enter the business world. Her colleagues admired her sharp wit and kind heart, and her family cherished her unwavering support. For Wang, life was about more than wealth. It was about making a difference. Amid her bustling career, Wang longed for companionship. Her focus on building her business had left little time for personal relationships, but she still dreamed of finding someone who would share her values and celebrate her achievements. That dream seemed to come true when she met Liu Qiang, a charming man with a magnetic personality. Liu presented himself as the perfect partner. He was attentive, supportive, and appeared genuinely interested in Wang's life and work. He claimed to be a successful investor, often regaling her with stories of his financial ventures and future plans. For Wang, who had spent much of her life navigating the challenges of the business world alone, Liu's presence felt like a breath of fresh air. Their relationship blossomed quickly. Liu's romantic gestures and unwavering encouragement seemed to embody everything Wang had hoped for in a partner. He frequently praised her accomplishments and expressed admiration for her resilience and intelligence. Friends and family, who were initially wary of Liu's rapid integration into Wang's life, were soon charmed by his seemingly genuine affection for her. Within a year, the couple married in a lavish ceremony that symbolized their shared prosperity and future. For Wang, it was a moment of fulfillment, a celebration of love and partnership that complemented the professional success she had worked so hard to achieve. However, behind Liu's charming exterior, lay a web of deceit that would ultimately unravel in the most tragic way. As the couple settled into married life, subtle cracks began to appear in Liu's facade. While he continued to maintain the image of a devoted husband, his behavior grew increasingly erratic. Wang began to notice discrepancies in Liu's stories about his business dealings and his frequent absences from home. When she gently questioned him, he would dismiss her concerns with elaborate excuses or deflect by lavishing her with gifts and compliments. Despite her growing unease, Wang chose to trust her husband, attributing his behavior to the pressures of his work. She believed in the partnership they had built and was determined to support him through whatever challenges he faced. This trust, deeply rooted in her values and belief in people's capacity for change, would later become her greatest vulnerability. Liu's true intentions became increasingly clear when he began pressuring Wang to alter her financial arrangements. He encouraged her to name him as a co-owner of her properties and suggested consolidating their assets under his management. Wang, who had always been meticulous about her finances, hesitated but ultimately agreed, wanting to demonstrate her trust and commitment to their marriage. Unbeknownst to Wang, Liu's charm and ambition masked a dangerous greed. His interest in her wealth far outweighed his affection for her, and he had been carefully orchestrating a plan to take control of her fortune. While Wang focused on growing her business and supporting their life together, Liu was plotting a betrayal that would shake her world to its core. Wang's life, built on trust and hard work, was about to collide with Liu's web of manipulation and greed. The man she had welcomed into her heart and life was not the partner she thought he was, and the events that would soon unfold would test her resilience and courage in unimaginable ways. For Wang Nuannuan, life with Liu Qiang seemed to be everything she had hoped for in a partnership, at least on the surface. Yet, beneath the veneer of their seemingly happy marriage, Liu's true intentions were beginning to take shape. What Wang believed to be love and shared ambition was, in reality, a calculated plot to exploit her trust and steal her hard-earned fortune. As their marriage progressed, Liu began to exhibit more troubling behavior. He frequently complained about financial difficulties in his business ventures, asking Wang for loans to bridge temporary gaps. Though Wang was meticulous with her money, she was also generous and eager to support her husband. Over the next several months, she lent Liu significant sums, trusting his assurances that he would repay her once his investments paid off. However, Liu's debts only seemed to grow, and his excuses became more convoluted. Wang noticed inconsistencies in his stories and began questioning his financial acumen. Each time she confronted him, Liu would deftly redirect the conversation, blaming external factors or accusing her of not trusting him enough. To placate her concerns, he showered her with lavish gifts, all purchased using her money. Despite her growing unease, Wang's belief in the sanctity of their marriage prevented her from fully confronting the depth of Liu's deceit. She rationalized his behavior as the result of stress and felt compelled to stand by him. It was a decision rooted in her loyalty and faith in their partnership, a faith Liu would betray in the most horrific way. In early 2020, Liu suggested a romantic getaway to a scenic mountain range known for its breathtaking cliffs and serene hiking trails. He framed the trip as an opportunity for them to reconnect and take a break from the stresses of work and life. Wang, always appreciative of nature and eager to spend quality time with her husband, agreed enthusiastically. The couple set out for the mountains, with Liu meticulously planning their itinerary. He seemed unusually attentive, ensuring they visited the most picturesque locations and documenting their journey with photographs. Wang, though still harboring doubts about their recent financial strains, felt a renewed sense of connection during the trip. It was a brief reprieve from her growing suspicions, a moment of hope that their relationship could recover. On the final day of their trip, Liu suggested they visit a remote cliffside known for its stunning sunset views. Wang, trusting her husband's intentions, followed him along the winding path to the edge of the cliff. As they stood there, surrounded by nature's beauty, Liu's demeanor changed. He grew quiet, his usual charm replaced by an unsettling intensity. Before Wang could process the shift, Liu grabbed her by the shoulders and shoved her over the edge. Wang plummeted over 30 meters, her body crashing into jagged rocks below. The impact left her severely injured, with her multiple fractures and internal bleeding. Miraculously, she survived the fall, her resilience and sheer will to live pushing her to cling to consciousness. Alone and unable to move, she lay at the base of the cliff, unsure if help would ever come. Meanwhile, Liu returned to the trailhead, feigning panic as he reported that Wang had accidentally fallen while taking a photograph. He painted himself as a devastated husband, inconsolable and desperate for help. Rescuers were dispatched immediately, and within hours, they reached Wang, who was barely clinging to life. Against all odds, Wang was airlifted to a nearby hospital, where she underwent emergency surgery. Doctors marveled at her strength and determination to survive, but her injuries were extensive, requiring weeks of recovery. During her time in the hospital, Wang began piecing together the events of that day. The realization that Liu had deliberately tried to kill her was both devastating and infuriating. As she regained her strength, Wang shared her suspicions with the authorities. Her recollection of Liu's behavior during the trip, combined with forensic evidence from the scene, painted a damning picture. Investigators noted that the area where Wang fell was not a typical spot for photographs. It was secluded and dangerous, suggesting premeditation on Liu's part. The investigation into Liu's motives uncovered a chilling pattern of deceit and greed. Bank records revealed that he had been systematically draining Wang's accounts for months, funneling money into his failing ventures and personal luxuries. Further digging uncovered life insurance policies Liu had taken out in Wang's name, listing himself as the sole beneficiary. The policies, worth millions, were signed just weeks before the trip, raising a red flag for investigators. Liu's financial troubles were far worse than Wang had known. He was drowning in debt from failed business deals and owed money to multiple creditors. The trip to the mountains, investigators concluded, was not a romantic getaway, but a meticulously planned attempt to murder Wang and claim the insurance payout to cover his debts. Witness testimonies from Wang's friends and family further highlighted Liu's manipulative behavior. Several recounted instances where Wang had confided her doubts about his honesty, only to dismiss them out of a desire to keep her marriage intact. Forensic evidence from the scene, including scuff marks near the cliff edge and inconsistencies in Liu's account, provided additional proof of his intent. As the evidence mounted, authorities arrested Liu on charges of attempted murder and fraud. He initially maintained his innocence, insisting that Wang's fall was a tragic accident. However, under the weight of overwhelming evidence, his facade began to crumble. Wang, despite her physical and emotional trauma, resolved to see justice served. Her testimony, combined with the investigative findings, set the stage for a trial that would expose Liu's greed and betrayal to the world. Wang Nuannuan's survival was nothing short of miraculous, but the road to recovery was long and arduous. Her physical injuries were severe, but the emotional scars of her husband's betrayal cut even deeper. Yet, even in her darkest moments, Wang refused to be defined by the actions of a man who had tried to destroy her. As she prepared to face Liu in court, Wang vowed not only to seek justice for herself, but also to use her story to warn others about the dangers of blind trust and manipulation. Her resilience became a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable betrayal, strength and determination could prevail. The arrest of Liu Qiang marked the beginning of a thorough investigation that would unravel his calculated plan to betray and murder his wife, Wang Nuannuan. As authorities delved deeper into Liu's actions, they uncovered a chilling web of greed, deceit, and premeditation. Ensuring that justice for Wang would not only expose the truth, but also serve as a warning against such heinous crimes. From the outset, Liu presented himself as a distraught husband, claiming that Wang's fall was a tragic accident. He recounted how she had slipped while taking photographs at the edge of the cliff, describing the incident in vivid detail to rescue workers and police. However, inconsistencies in his story quickly raised red flags. Investigators returned to the scene and found scuff marks and disturbed soil near the edge of the cliff, evidence that suggested a struggle. The placement of these marks indicated that Wang had not merely slipped, but had been forcibly pushed. Witnesses who had seen Liu and Wang earlier in the day noted that Liu seemed unusually preoccupied, as though distracted by something weighing heavily on his mind. Forensic experts confirmed that the trajectory of Wang's fall and the nature of her injuries were inconsistent with an accidental slip. Meanwhile, Wang, still recovering in the hospital, provided her own account of the incident. Though her memory of the exact moment she was pushed was hazy, she recalled Liu's strange behavior leading up to the fall, including his insistence on visiting the secluded cliffside. She also shared her growing suspicions about Liu's financial motives, which investigators quickly corroborated. Digging into Liu's financial records, authorities uncovered clear evidence of his motive. Bank statements revealed that Liu had been embezzling money from Wang's accounts for months, transferring large sums into his own failing ventures. Additionally, he had maxed out credit cards under Wang's name and borrowed money against her assets without her knowledge. The most damning evidence came in the form of life insurance policies Liu had taken out on Wang shortly before the trip. The policies, worth millions, named Liu as the sole beneficiary. Investigators noted the timing of these policies and their suspiciously high value, concluding that Liu had planned to murder Wang to secure the payout and cover his mounting debts. Friends and family also testified about Liu's behavior in the months leading up to the trip. Several of Wang's close friends recalled conversations in which she expressed doubts about Liu's honesty and his increasingly erratic behavior. These accounts painted a portrait of a man who had spent months meticulously grooming Wang's trust, while secretly orchestrating her downfall. As the evidence against Liu mounted, prosecutors worked to build a watertight case. They pieced together forensic findings, financial records, and witness testimonies to create a timeline of events that highlighted Liu's premeditation and greed. Surveillance footage from the hotel and hiking trail further confirmed Liu's actions, showing his calm demeanor immediately after Wang's fall, a stark contrast to his claims of shock and panic. Liu's defense team attempted to argue that the incident was an accident, citing his cooperation with rescue efforts and his lack of prior violent behavior. However, this narrative crumbled under the weight of forensic evidence and Liu's financial history. The prosecution emphasized the premeditated nature of Liu's actions, framing him as a cold and calculating individual who had manipulated Wang's trust for personal gain. When Liu's trial commenced in early 2021, it drew national attention. The courtroom was packed with reporters, supporters of Wang, and members of the public outraged by the betrayal she had endured. For Wang, who attended the trial in a wheelchair, the experience was both empowering and painful. A chance to confront the man who had tried to destroy her. The prosecution presented a compelling case, starting with Wang's testimony. Her account of Liu's behavior leading up to the incident, coupled with her emotional recounting of the fall and its aftermath, left a powerful impression on the jury. Wang's courage and determination to speak out, despite her injuries, underscored the severity of Liu's betrayal. Forensic experts testified about the evidence at the scene, confirming that Wang's fall was not accidental. They explained how the trajectory of her injuries aligned with a deliberate push rather than a slip, dismantling Liu's claims of innocence. Financial analysts detailed Liu's embezzlement and the life insurance policies, further highlighting his motive. The most damning evidence came from Liu's digital records. Investigators had recovered text messages and internet searches from Liu's phone that revealed his planning. Searches like how to make murder look like an accident and best places to push someone off a cliff left no doubt about his intent. These findings, combined with the life insurance policies, painted a chilling picture of premeditated murder. After weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for only a few hours before reaching a unanimous verdict: guilty of attempted murder and fraud. The judge, in delivering Liu's sentence, condemned his actions as an egregious betrayal of trust and humanity. Liu was sentenced to life in prison, with no possibility of parole for 25 years. For Wang, the verdict brought a sense of closure, but also deep sadness. "I trusted him with my life," she said in a public statement after the trial. "He took that trust and turned it into a weapon against me. But I am still here, and I will not let his actions define my story." The case sparked widespread outrage and discussions about financial exploitation and domestic abuse. Advocacy groups used Wang's story to highlight the dangers of blind trust and the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships. Wang herself became a symbol of resilience. Her survival and testimony inspiring others to speak out against abuse and manipulation. The trial also prompted calls for stricter oversight of financial and legal arrangements within marriages, as well as greater awareness of the warning signs of toxic relationships. For many, Wang's story was a wake-up call, a reminder that even the most successful and independent individuals can fall victim to betrayal. As Wang began the long process of rebuilding her life, she resolved to use her experience to help others. Her fight for justice had exposed Liu's greed and cruelty, but it also showcased her own strength and determination. In the face of unimaginable betrayal, Wang Nuannuan proved that resilience and courage could prevail, offering hope to countless others facing their own battles. Wang Nuannuan's survival and Liu Qiang's conviction marked the end of one harrowing chapter in her life, but the beginning of another. Her journey toward recovery and rebuilding her life after unimaginable betrayal. Though her physical injuries were severe, the emotional scars ran deeper, leaving Wang to navigate the aftermath of her husband's attempt to murder her. The fall had left Wang with multiple fractures, internal injuries, and long-term nerve damage. Her recovery was slow and grueling, requiring months of physical therapy and medical treatment. She faced daily challenges, from learning to walk again to regaining basic mobility. Each step was a testament to her resilience and determination to reclaim her independence. Wang's medical team was amazed by her perseverance. Despite the pain and setbacks, she approached her recovery with the same tenacity that had driven her success in business. "She's one of the strongest people we've ever treated," her lead physical therapist remarked. She refused to let this define her. Her family and friends became her unwavering support system during this time. They rallied around her, ensuring she had everything she needed, from emotional encouragement to practical assistance. Her parents, who had always been proud of her accomplishments, stood by her side every step of the way, reminding her of the strength she had shown throughout her life. While Wang's physical recovery was challenging, the emotional trauma of Liu's betrayal was even more difficult to process. The man she had loved and trusted had not only stolen from her, but had tried to end her life for financial gain. Coming to terms with this betrayal required immense courage and introspection. Wang sought therapy to address the psychological impact of the ordeal. Through counseling, she worked to understand her feelings of anger, grief, and betrayal. "It's not just about healing your body," she later said in an interview. "It's about healing your mind and your heart. That takes time, and it takes help." One of the hardest parts of her recovery was reconciling her own instincts and decisions. She struggled with guilt over having trusted Liu and questioned whether she had ignored warning signs. However, her therapist and loved ones reminded her that the fault lay solely with Liu. "He manipulated and deceived you," her best friend told her. "You were acting out of love and trust. That's not something to regret." As Wang's strength returned, she began focusing on reclaiming her identity and rebuilding the life Liu had tried to take from her. She reconnected with her business, which had suffered during her recovery, but remained operational thanks to her trusted team. Returning to work gave Wang a renewed sense of purpose and control, reminding her of the success she had built through her own determination. Wang also became an advocate for others who had experienced similar betrayals. She began sharing her story publicly, using her platform to raise awareness about financial exploitation and domestic abuse. Her speeches, interviews, and articles highlighted the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships and the need for systemic changes to protect vulnerable individuals. Her advocacy resonated with many, particularly women in similar circumstances. Wang's courage and honesty inspired others to speak out about their own experiences, creating a ripple effect that extended far beyond her immediate circle. If my story can help even one person avoid what I went through, she said, then it's worth telling. Wang's ordeal and recovery became a symbol of resilience and strength. Her refusal to let Liu's actions define her life inspired countless others facing their own struggles. She used her platform to call for greater protections against financial and emotional abuse, advocating for stricter regulations on life insurance policies and financial arrangements within marriages. In addition to her advocacy work, Wang launched a foundation dedicated to supporting survivors of abuse and exploitation. The Nuannuan Resilience Foundation provided resources, counseling, and financial assistance to individuals rebuilding their lives after traumatic experiences. For Wang, the foundation was a way to turn her pain into purpose, ensuring that others had the support they needed to heal and thrive. Though Wang's life would never be the same, she refused to let Liu's betrayal overshadow her achievements or her future. She found solace in the support of her family, friends, and community, drawing strength from the love and encouragement that surrounded her. She also began exploring new interests, such as traveling and writing, as part of her journey toward rediscovery. In her public appearances, Wang often emphasized the importance of hope and resilience. "Life can change in an instant," she said during a televised interview. "But even in the darkest moments, there's strength within you to rise again. No one can take that away from you." For Wang Nuannuan, survival was not just about overcoming the physical and emotional toll of her husband's actions. It was about reclaiming her story and proving that even in the face of unimaginable betrayal, the human spirit can endure and triumph. Her journey served as a beacon of hope for others, a reminder that resilience and courage could light the way forward no matter how dark the path may seem. Wang Nuannuan's story is one of survival, resilience, and justice. Her ability to rise above betrayal and physical trauma inspired not only those who knew her, but countless others who heard her story. Yet, her harrowing experience also highlighted broader societal issues, gaps in protections against financial and emotional exploitation, and the dangers of unchecked greed within intimate. At its core, Wang's story is a cautionary tale about trust and deception in relationships. Her marriage to Liu Qiang, which began as a partnership filled with promise, was ultimately weaponized against her by a man driven by greed. For many, her experience underscored the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships. Unexplained financial behavior, manipulation, and emotional distancing. Wang often spoke about the lessons she learned, not to warn people against trust, but to encourage them to balance it with vigilance. "Trust is a beautiful thing," she said in an interview, "but it must be earned and maintained through honesty and transparency." Never let someone's love blind you to your own instincts. Her advocacy also extended to empowering individuals, particularly women, to maintain financial independence and safeguard their assets. Wang emphasized the importance of open communication about finances within relationships and the need to ensure that legal and financial arrangements are clear and equitable. Wang's story prompted widespread discussions about the systemic failures that allowed Liu to exploit her so thoroughly. Advocacy groups pointed to the lack of oversight in financial arrangements within marriages, as well as insufficient protections for individuals vulnerable to manipulation and abuse. In response to public outcry, lawmakers began exploring reforms aimed at preventing similar cases. Proposed measures included stricter regulations on life insurance policies, requiring deeper scrutiny of beneficiary arrangements, and mandatory reporting of suspicious transactions involving joint accounts or marital assets. Legal experts also advocated for improved access to counseling and support services for individuals in financially or emotionally exploitative relationships. Wang lent her voice to these efforts, working alongside policymakers and advocacy groups to push for meaningful change. What happened to me should never happen to anyone else, she said during a public address. We need systems in place to protect people from those who would use love and trust as weapons. In the wake of her recovery, Wang founded the Nuannuan Resilience Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting survivors of financial and emotional abuse. The foundation offered counseling, legal aid, and financial assistance to individuals rebuilding their lives after betrayal or exploitation. It also conducted workshops on financial literacy and self-empowerment, equipping people with tools to protect themselves and their assets. The foundation quickly gained traction, with thousands of survivors reaching out for help and support. Wang's story became a source of hope for many, and her hands-on involvement in the foundation further cemented her commitment to helping others. Through this work, Wang transformed her personal tragedy into a platform for change, ensuring that her pain was not endured in vain. Wang's courage and determination resonated with people around the world. Her public appearances, interviews, and speeches became rallying cries for resilience and accountability. Survivors of similar betrayals saw in her a symbol of strength and a reminder that recovery was possible, no matter how deep the wounds. Social media campaigns, inspired by Wang's advocacy, used hashtags like Resilience for Nuannuan and Justice for Survivors to share her message and amplify her work. These campaigns created a global community of support, uniting people in their efforts to fight exploitation and empower those affected. Wang's legacy extends far beyond her personal triumphs. Her journey highlighted the strength of the human spirit and the power of community in overcoming adversity. Through her foundation, her advocacy, and her example, she became a beacon of hope for those navigating their own battles against betrayal and abuse. Reflecting on her journey, Wang once said, "The worst moments of my life became the reason I found my purpose. If I can help even one person avoid what I went through, then everything I've endured will have meaning." Wang Nuannuan's story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of vigilance and empowerment, and the enduring power of justice. Her life, though marked by betrayal, became a symbol of hope and a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light can prevail. Her legacy lives on through her work and the countless lives she touched, proving that strength and compassion can triumph over even the greatest adversities.